Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire today, joined by Tonya Burke, a councilwoman in the city of Perris. She is running for mayor, that election on November 8th. And it is remarkable how if you just ask, sometimes you get what you want. And I want to talk about how you asked a congresswoman, we know her, Maxine Waters from Los Angeles. Yes. You asked her back in February, you were at the Democratic Convention and the state convention. What did you ask Congresswoman Waters?
Well, Congresswoman Waters, at the convention, she made a statement and she said, you know, how many of you would like to see Hillary Clinton in your community? Because I think it's important that she's going to be our next president. It's important for her to start coming out to these cities that usually don't get to see the president.
And let's remember, Maxine Waters is not your congresswoman.
No, she's not my congresswoman.
She represents
Los Angeles
County.
area, yes.
Paris is in Riverside County.
Paris is in Riverside County. And so I approached Maxine and I said, you know, are you for real about this? You know, we're off to the side. No one's here. If that was just, you know, that pomp and circumstance that you give to the, you know, to the electeds, I'm okay with that. And she was like, no, I'm serious about that. It's time for electeds of all, you know, levels to start coming out to those cities who tend to get left out of the situation.
And let's remember, Perris is part of a county of 2.3 million, a county that's growing, and a city that's growing. I mean, Perris is part of the boom that is Riverside County.
Yes, that's right.
And so, so Maxine Waters said, yeah, I'm serious. Then what happened?
And she said yes, and I said, okay, I'll hold you to it. Here's my contact, and, you know, I look forward to talking to you later. And she said, okay. And so I just left, didn't think anything of it, just went on about my merry little way. And about maybe a couple weeks later, I get a call from her office, and one of her staff person said, could you hold on for a little bit? I got Maxine Waters on the line. And I said,
okay.
Maxine?
Maxine who?
Maxine who? And he said, yes, I have Maxine on the line and she wants to talk to you. So she came on the line. She said, Tonya, I hope you remember. I said I was going to reach out and, you know, have more electeds at the table to meet Hillary Clinton. And I'm having a private engagement, and I'm going to have Hillary Clinton there, and I want her to meet other electeds who typically don't get this opportunity. And so she said, would you be interested? And I said, would I be interested? And she said, but it's tomorrow, and it's in Los Angeles. So would you be willing to come?
Of course you would.
And I said yes. And so I went out, and it was a small enough, intimate venue to where I was able to have some one-on-one dialogue with Secretary Clinton, and Maxine made sure that all the electeds there had that one-on-one opportunity. And during that conversation, Maxine was there, and Karen Bass was there.
Congresswoman Karen Bass.
Yes.
Also from Los Angeles, my congresswoman.
Yes. And so during that conversation, I said, you know, you should really come to Paris. And she kind of looked at Maxine.
I've been to Paris, France.
Yeah. And she's like, I thought this was California, you know. And so Maxine said she's from Paris, California. And she's like, oh, and I said, yes, Paris, California, not Paris, Texas, and not Paris, France. And so she was like, yeah, that sounds terrific.
And how many people live in Paris?
We have about 74,000.
That's a real number.
Yes, that's a real number. That's a real number. And so I said it would be great if you can come out, share a little bit about our city, and you know, Secretary Clinton said, "Oh, that sounds good,
terrific."
But
the thing about Paris is that it, in a lot of ways, it really is kind of a microcosm of California. And so, you know, look, I'm sure you were persuasive, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at Paris, it really is kind of the future of California. Large Hispanic population. About 75,000. About an hour from Los Angeles, San Diego, Orange County.
Palm Springs. We're like we're in the middle ground.
And so you persuaded her, and then she came.
Well, I wouldn't say I persuaded
her. Yes, you did.
Her.
I'll say it for you.
But you know, there were other electeds who represent our area, like Congressman Takano.
Sure.
He
Mark
played
Takano.
a part in it, yes.
No, it's all Tonya Burke. I'll
and
say it.
Senator Richard Ross,
Yes,
you
it's
know.
all Tonya Burke.
So, yes.
So tell me about that June day when she came to Paris.
Oh, it was just so wonderful.
Right.
She came, she was so down to earth. I was one of the lucky folks to be able to sit on a panel with some other members of the community to ask her some real questions.
What'd you ask her?
My question was, you know, oftentimes cities like Paris, we're never at the table. Smaller cities like Paris, Harupa, San Jacinto,
Hammett,
yes. And oftentimes when it comes to the funding, the federal funding, we get left out of the equation, and we need that funding. We have some serious needs in our city, and I asked her what would she do if she was president to start making sure that cities like Paris have their seat at the table. And she said, you know, it's so important for us to change those funding formulas to where we can compete with the Los Angeles, the San Diegos, the Oaklands,
even the Riversides,
the San Franciscos, and the Riversides. Yes.
What a gift for you.
Yes.
But it's also interesting that you went to see her, and the same year that we may be electing our first female president, Paris may be electing its first female mayor.
Yes.
And so I want to get a sense from you about, you know, that comparison and what it means to you, what it means to Paris, and how you use the historic nature of this year in a way that's positive, but not truly and solely symbolic.
Yes. Well, it's important for women to be at the table in politics. There's so few of us in different arenas in politics. Like here in Riverside County, we don't even have any women that sits on the county board of supervisors.
You're right.
And it's time for a change. And you know, I have been a big proponent of making sure other women, not, you know, once I got to the table, I had to reach back and lift up other women to make sure that they got to come to the table. And it's important because we have a dialogue, and not to be, you know,
Look,
I'm the
father of 2 daughters.
Okay.
I'm married to a woman. I have 2 female cats. I have a mother who has 2 sisters, a grandmother with 6 sisters.
Yes.
And so I'm surrounded by women. I get it.
Yes.
And you know, I get it. Believe me. I mean, look, I think it's fair to say that no one wants to have someone vote based solely on gender, or solely on race, or solely on religion.
No.
But a place at the table.
Yes. And it's time. It's time for women to have a place at the table on every level. And I think that this year is just a remarkable year just to even have a woman running for president, you know. And that sets such a great example for our younger women, you know, our younger
But it's
youth.
so interesting. I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. They're both girls. To them having a black president, they don't know any different. To them having a female president, if it happens, to us, who knew?
Yes, it's a great thing.
Right.
It's a great
Who
thing.
knew?
Yes.
So when you're out and about in Paris, politicking, what are folks saying to you as the potential first female mayor of your fine city?
Well, a lot of people have been very receptive and very encouraging and very supportive. And people feel, frankly, it's about time. It's about time. And luckily, I've been one of those electeds that has always been in the community the moment that I got in. I never stopped being a part of the community because I really don't see myself as a politician. I see myself as a servant that happens to serve in a political arena. So I just love what I do, and I love the people of Paris.
And you'll come back?
And I definitely will come back.
Her name is Tonya Burke. She met Hillary Clinton twice.
Twice.
Once,
Twice this year.
Twice this year.
Yes.
She is a councilwoman in the city of Perris in California.
Yes, and
she is running for mayor of that fine city. That election will be held on November 8th. My name is Brad Pomerance, coming to you from the Inland Empire, Charter Local Edition.